All right, well, thank you everyone for coming on out tonight. Hopefully you can hear me all the way back there. And hopefully you'll be able to hear Scott. Scott's a little louder than I am, though. That's not a commentary or anything. It's just a fact. It's a piece of science. We can still have science, right? It's not an alternative fact. It just is a fact.
Yeah. Scott's tall.
So I want to welcome everyone. Thank you, Pine Creek, for allowing this to continue. And yeah, thank you. I'm Mark from Elk River Books, and it's Elk River Books and Pine Creek who have joined together to make this happen again. It's beautiful that Pine Creek is back. So, thank you for supporting this beautiful place that we have. Without all of you, poor Chip and Jen could not do this. So, thank you. And come out here as much as you can. Come on out for trivia, which happens
Wednesday nights.
every other Wednesday. And is it happening tomorrow? Is trivia tomorrow? No, just so the other Wednesday. So just come out here every single Wednesday. And Monday and Tuesday and Friday and Saturday. I've got some books up there for sale that I'll mention specifically what they are in a moment. But if you need a book, find me. I'll try to come up there as soon as Scott is done. There's one of Scott's books and an Elk River book that just came out, the anthology Unearthing Paradise, Montana Writers in Defense of Greater Yellowstone. Help us stop these gold mines that are
I'll give you 1 second.
this beautiful land that we have right here where we are at this moment. 4 or 5 of the writers are here tonight. So if you were to get one of those books, I'm sure they'd be happy to send it for you. Next month, February 22nd, we've got a tag team reading. Charlotte McGuinn Freeman and Alan Kesselheim. So 4th Wednesday of every month. So come out, as often as you can, and we'll keep booking writers for you to enjoy. If one can enjoy writers. Okay, so tonight we have Scott McMillion. And Scott has been an award-winning journalist and author for more than 20 years. Not sure what he did for the first 60 years of his life, but the last 20 he's been writing. Sorry, Scott. He's the author of Mark of the Grizzly, now in a new, revised, and updated edition, and has been senior editor of the critically acclaimed Montana Quarterly for the past 6 years. He's also the editor of the book we have here tonight, Montana Warts and All, which is a compilation of the best of the first 10 years of writing from Montana Quarterly. So please help me welcome Scott McMillion.
It's a little congested up here.
Mark, what's your tall?
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. Thanks Mark and Elk River for doing this, and the folks here at Pine Creek. I can only speak for a lot of us to say how happy we are to see this place up and going again. Just had a great chicken dinner. You can't go wrong with a chicken dinner.
Winner, winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Well, we've had some interesting times the last couple of months.
Hey, good. Thanks, Cole.
We'll talk about it a little bit later, but not right now. Mark mentioned this book that we published last year, Montana Warts and All. A lot of people wondered about that title, And it just popped into my head and never really considered another title once it did. That's been our editorial philosophy at the Montana Quarterly for the last almost 11 years now. And we want to cover Montana's story, all of it. The pretty parts, some parts of it aren't quite so pretty. It was a hard book to put together, and I mean the genesis of it. I just was doing some bookkeeping. I thought, wow, we've been doing this 10 years. We should do something. And I had just bought the magazine 3 years before that. It was hard to pick out the best ones of the hundreds of stories that we'd run over the years. And so we had to come up with some criteria, and my key staff helped me, Craig Lancaster, and Sabrina Crew, and Megan Regneris, and Elise Atchison, all had a role in making that book happen. But, well, I'll just read a part of it. I think the introduction explains best what it is we're trying to do with this book. Photographer Thomas Lee has an elderly Saab, and one of its doors croaks like a sandhill crane, which makes me smile every time I open or close that door. It reminds me that sandhills have become common enough in Montana that most people recognize their call, whether the birds are lifting off or zooming in on some place of interest to them. That's what we try to do at the Montana Quarterly as well, rise above the fray to gain some perspective, then zero in for a good look around at a small town, a cool bar, an overlooked piece of history, or somebody who's trying to make the world a little better. Then we tell the story. We've been at the job for 10 years now, and this book seemed like a good way to celebrate. We survived a recession, had to slap down some premature rumors of our demise, and came under new and independent ownership, but that's me, which has helped us thrive. We've had a lot of fun at the magazine, made a lot of friends, and stepped on a few toes. We didn't mean to, but that's part of the job, and we're not going to back off. It's our editorial philosophy, Montana, warts and all. While we're all lucky and proud to live in a place as big and open and welcoming as Montana, we try to keep our eyes clear. This isn't Shangri-La. Things aren't perfect, and they never will be. Warts are common. Some people are criminals, or greedy, or just bad neighbors. But I think they're overshadowed by the end all. The people who get up every morning and do their job, who help, who wouldn't dream of leaving somebody stuck in a ditch, who share the Quarterly's focus of finding ways to keep from screwing it all up. These stories need telling. I'm glad we make it possible, and I hope you enjoy this book as much as we did creating it. So from the warts category, there's an odd little bar in Eastern Montana called the Jimtown Bar. Anybody ever been to the Jimtown Bar?
Yes.
Gadsden's been there.
Yes. Scariest bar on the planet Earth.
Well, also the toughest bar in Montana.
You would know.
It sits right on the edge of the Northern Cheyenne Reservation, which is a dry reservation. So, and that's where most of their clients come from. So when people go there, they're aiming there. It has a pile of beer cans in the backyard that you can see from space. They're accumulating these beer cans for decades and decades and decades. So this, we did a whole series of stories on eating and drinking. The subtitle of that section is Belly Up, You've Earned It. So, the toughest bar in Montana, question mark. Like a lot of saloons around the country, the Jimtown Bar sells souvenir ball caps bearing the name of the bar. I've seen a lot of hats, but these are different. Embroidered on the back is a slogan, Friday night special, shot, stabbed, or raped. It's not really a joke, it's kind of a perverse pride. I've heard for years that Jimtown Bar is the toughest joint in Montana, the kind of place where the whoop-ass can is always open. Perched just outside the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation, which bans the sale or possession of alcohol, this rambling wooden structure overlooks an awful pretty stretch of Rosebud Creek. Everybody's welcome, but the bar specializes in scratching an itch for anyone willing to make a short drive with a long walk from Reindeer, about 4 miles away. For most of their long history, the Cheyenne were a warrior nation, a fact that Custer should have heeded. And the ravages of alcohol in Indian country are well known, which is why the tribal elders have banned booze on the reservation. Violence erupts at Jimtown, and everybody seems resigned to the inevitability. So does owner Mary Dillon, who does what she can to keep things under control. I've only had to shoot my gun a couple times, she said. And I've only been genuinely scared probably twice, but I buy pepper spray by the case. She told me she's not afraid to use it either, even if it means that everybody's out of here puking. Vomit in the parking lot is better than a Donnybrook inside. Jimtown isn't really a town, it's just the bar, Dillon's trailer house out back, and some outbuildings where the yard is surrounded by 8-foot chain link fences and patrolled by 7 Doberman Pinschers and German Shepherds. They respect my dogs, Dillon said of her customers. If I raise my voice, those dogs are on somebody. If she has to, she said, she'll handcuff a particularly truculent customer to a pole where he or she awaits